All right, folks. You know what that sound means? It's time to get back to it. Whew. All right, we are back. What's shaking, y'all? So, first we got to talk about, a couple things. First is that um, I'm sorry if it's a little dark and gloomy here. It's just that for whatever reason, my streamer lighting picked now of all times to totally crap the bed. So that's why it's a little. That's why the lighting is a little whack right now. My face is not getting lit the way it's supposed to. And the other thing, if I can even remember what it was, I honestly don't remember now. But whatever. I'm back. And now it's time to throw down, I guess, on some One Piece content. We got the new One Piece chapter, and also just a little tier list that I'm gonna be real with you. I almost forgot to put it together before the stream started. But yeah, just the lighting is the number one reason why I was a little late. Because the remote wasn't working, the buttons on the streamer lighting wasn't working, and so I had to dive down into the abyss, which you do not even want to know what kind of like cable situation is going on right under us, because it is positively Gordian in nature. That's brutal. I thought I had almost accidentally disconnected my microphone right before stream, which that would have been bad news bears. And I also want to take the time to fix the text, because I always forget to do that before I stream. This time I managed to do it. The other thing I want to talk about was just, sorry if my hair is a little whack. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but, it's been almost 2 months since my last haircut appointment, and we still got another week to go, so it's probably going to be even worse the next time we stream. Assuming we're streaming next week. I assume we are. But, we'll find out. Yeah, no Mountain Dew this time, by the way. I don't know, I was just really hankering for some Barks, which, by the way, this is the best, like, how do I put this? Root beer that comes in 12 packs. I do think not Barks, Virgil's is still a little better, but they just sell those in like little 4 packs of the glass bottles. But this right here, people wonder, is it mug or A&W? No, it's all about Barks in the nice shiny silver can. Unless I have a bit of a sentimental attachment to it, because, way back in the day, my middle school had a soda machine right next to the exit. And so I would just bring a little pocket change, and then I would sip on some Barks on my way walking back home. And that was pretty cool, especially in the autumn. Which, autumn has not yet come here. It is pretty stinking hot for the week of Thanksgiving. I was going to say the week before, but it is Sunday now. And yeah, also, I can't remember the last time that we actually streamed, at our regular time, 1 p.m. I know it's a little late, like 5 minutes, but still, we've had to do a lot of delays. And I don't even necessarily expect this to be a very long stream, because I said it last time, like, I'm going to have to figure out what I want my next stream to be about. It's like 6 days later. I'm still I'm still racking my brain. Like, what am I going to do for stream? Like, it's freaking tomorrow. What's it going to be? What I came up with isn't much, but I mean, it's something. But this is probably going to be like a micro stream. Probably only going to be like 1 to 2 hours, probably. I just haven't been vibing, honestly. Man, it's dark. The best I can do for lighting is just the little built-in LEDs in my gamer desk. So yeah, I thought we'd do like a little One Piece tier list of my own creation. Thought about doing another tier list. I can't remember what it was now. It wasn't One Piece related. Um, Deck on it. I came up with it spur of the moment as I was getting ready for stream, and now I can't remember it at all. Mm, whatever. I'll try and remember later. Although that probably isn't gonna go very well. Man, what was it? I'm trying to remember. So hard. But yeah, we see our schedule up here. I figure we'd start with the new One Piece chapter, and then go into the tier list, and then just kill some time with some BTD 6. Try and black border. Well, not black border because I don't have like the medals for easy and normal mode. But like try to beat chimps on what's it called, like junkyard, scrapyard, whatever, and maybe do impoppable on some other maps. I don't know. Depends. But let's just go ahead and jump into it now with this new chapter. And yeah, so here's our new color spread. And I'm not too happy about it because why? Why are we back in Wano? Why are we still seeing these characters from Wano? I thought we were done with Wano. I thought we were leaving Wano. The Wano country arc lasted for like 4 years. And then the new arc starts, and immediately we go back to Wano in a flashback, still seeing the same characters in the same place. And then before the arc is even over, we've got a cover story about Wano, and that went for like 1 or 2 years, and then that's over. And then before this arc is over, we've got a color spread where we go back to Wano. Can we please leave Wano Country? I'm ready to leave Wano Country. I don't want to see Wano Country anymore. I never want to see it ever again. One of my least favorite arcs. Just gonna say that straight up. Can we please leave Wano Country and stay out of Wano Country for as long as possible? I would not mind if we never, ever, ever went back. If we never saw any of these characters again. I don't like Yamato at all. I don't care about Shinobu. Shinobu, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, she has instantly put on all of her weight again. By the way. So that's disappointing. You thought we got a new baddie out of Wano, but no, we did not. And then Tama's, whatever. She just has the stigma of being a character from Wano stuck to her. She's just another character that I got sick of looking at. But we got our autumn aesthetic going, where we're eating baked sweet potatoes, I guess. And for some psychotic reason, we are handling these baked sweet potatoes with our bare hands. And I've never had sweet potatoes before. Is this really how you eat them? Like, really? You just, like, gnaw right into them? No fixins, no nothing? That seems wild to me. I don't know. I'm used to my baked potatoes with, the butter and the bacon and the cheese and the chives. No sour cream though. No, that is mm, no. I hate sour cream. This is not a safe space for sour cream lovers here on Cross Age Productions. That is not. That's not what we do. That's not how we do. But we've got our autumn clothing on, and Nami's looking cute. She does look very small though. She's drawn almost childlike with a big head, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the hat making her head look even bigger. Yamato, I really don't like this character, but I'll admit she looks nice in her like frumpy sweater. Everybody's got their like frumpy jackets on. Zoro, for some reason, dressed very redneck, which is bizarre to look at. But I mean, I like the outfits. I like the color palette. That's fine. I just don't like the bizarre inclusion of Wano in this color spread. I think that's very annoying. But enough ranting about Wano. Odin says, Spontini, one of my favorite pizza spots, entered my Uber Eats delivery range. And I celebrated by eating way more than I should. And, hey, I am right there with you. It's been tough. So I forgot to mention this, but I went to a local festival yesterday, and it was pretty cool. Got to listen to some nice music, some like collective soul, and um, got to pick up some like local hot sauces. We're all about hot sauces around here. Actually, I meant to show them off. So, like, before we go any further, can you just like give me a moment? Hold on. All right, there we go. So, yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and show off my haul from my local festival. I figured I'd get some early Christmas shopping done, so I'm going to get my aunt this. You know what? Actually, no. just in case she sees this. Um, on second thought, no. I don't think she even knows that I have a YouTube channel, so a little sneak peek. Got her little bracelet. I think it's nice. I think it fits her overall aesthetic. No QR codes for you. I don't want to geolocate myself. That's why I'm not showing you the backside, because it's got the name of the person or the company who made it, who is very local. And then we've also got See, this is another local brand, so I can't show you the label, but ooh, it shows you where they were bottled. Ooh, that's bad. I gotta like carefully cover these up. I got jalapeno simple syrup, coconut sugar, jalapenos, apple cider vinegar, garlic powder, celery seed, and cayenne pepper. I don't know how this is gonna turn out, but I'll give it a spin. It looks appetizing. Also got Frankensauce. Mixed peppers, onions, vinegar, garlic, and kosher salt. I mean, seems like you're pretty archetypical hot sauce there. And then, of course, we got medium garlic. Green cayenne peppers, garlic, vinegar, water, and kosher salt. I was warned that this is extremely garlicky. So I'm probably going to have that on burgers or something. So that's good stuff. And I also got Crinkle lightsabers. Yeah, I thought I picked these up as kind of an attraction for next year's trick or treat, because I like to do trick or treat out of the trunk of my car, because where I live, it's not really a big trick or treat hotspot. I would try to do it just off my front porch, and would end up with a lot of leftovers because kids, they just don't want to walk all the way down to where I'm at. So going to where they are works better, but they still don't get it. They don't get that I'm handing out candy out of my car. So this, I thought, almost like air traffic control, like candy here, come get your candy here, hello. I thought this would be a good way to get to like grab people's attention. And I couldn't decide which one I like more, the blue one or the green one, so I got both, you know. Green is more, you know, Halloween-y. But blue is my favorite color. So, yeah. Anyway, the chapter. Let's do this. The aftermath of the battle. Did they really break the curse? Okay. Interesting. So, does getting your ass whooped break the curse? Okay. I realized I never actually gave my opinion on the last chapter. Not even sure if I remember all the. I remember that Rocks got done dirty. I guess it's safe to say that I really didn't like last chapter that much, honestly. But yeah, everybody's looking beat. Rock's looking slightly more like his son. Which, by the way, we got the official colors for Rocks, and it's kind of weird. So the white parts of his hair are white. The black parts of his hair are blue, which I'm fine with that. You know, again, blue's my favorite color. The whatever on his face, scar, tattoo, whatever, it's purple. Interesting. But yeah, come on, stay alive. This island is, oh boy. Scavengers of the Fields of War. We got Garling, Summers, and weird Femme Moria. That's what she gives to me. That's the energy that she gives off. Damn it, it's too late. Roger, Garp, run. You can't die here. Dang, they really are. They're here to finish anyone who's down but not out. That is savage. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I wanted to say. Of course, it's probably going to be some ominous thing about the D, and then we're just going to get left on our millionth cliffhanger. But okay, there's does she have like a volcano coming out of the top of her head? What is this shape here? Right here. What is that? Oh, you just want to say thanks for stopping me. Okay. How's Rocks? You're worrying about the enemy? I'm your enemy too. Rayleigh, tell me, what happened to Rocks? He was killed. Hurry, the island's collapsed. Wow. Okay. I thought it was like some dirty dealings. I thought it was just like the existence of this island had been censored, but no, it really did just get beat up so hard that it sank into the sea. Hurry, the island's collapsing. Don't let the pirates escape. Roger's ship is on the move. Fire. This event would leave no mark on the pages of history. The crumbling island was swallowed by the waves and consumed by fog. Like curtains closing on a grand stage. That was the essence of the God Valley incident. Oh, great. That's good. I vibe with that. I'm glad that we're finally out of God Valley because just think about how twisted that sounds, right? Like this was like the ultimate. It was the ultimate showdown of Ultimate Destiny. It was like everybody, all the warriors, everybody turned out for this ultimate fight. The Roger Pirates, Garp's unit, God's Knights, the Gorosei, or Saturn and Ema, their little tag team, the Rocks Pirates, the soon-to-be Revolutionary Army. Like they're all here, all showing out, and yet it just seemed to kind of drag, and it didn't tell me too much that I didn't already know. Like there were little bits about like the Navy clan, and that's cool, I guess. But for the most part, it was just kind of watching everything play out when I already knew how it was going to end. And it just seemed like a huge distraction. Like, remember, once upon a time, this flashback was supposed to be about Harold and Loki and all the various dealings with the like Elbaf royal family. And then once Rox shows up, he kind of makes off with the whole flashback, and it suddenly becomes about him. It's I don't know. I don't really vibe with it. The way he took over. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to finally see him in an action, but all things considered, with the way he has been treated, where he just kind of feels like a fraud, kind of doesn't really live up to the hype. I don't know. Maybe it would have been better to keep that character in more like mystery, right? But whatever. We got to see the dragon was there. We got to see exactly how everything came down. We got to see that Emu is absolutely 100% broken. But yeah. Let's go. Full speed ahead. Yeah. The silence in the incident's wake lasted only a moment before a massive bolt of lightning split the heavens. And with that, the curtain rose for new tales to unfold, like Blackbeard. And I'm just going to go ahead and scoot past what is almost certainly a sussy looking advertisement. Yeah, okay. Still, hold it in. Just wait till Roger's up. Come on, Captain. I'm dying to open up the treasure chest. Roger. Sorry to worry you guys. Wait, hold on a second. Not Gloria. Is that her name, Gloriosa? I don't remember. But she's on the ship. Sorry to worry you guys. Yeah, we're thrilled. More importantly, check it out. Don't you care about me at all? Shaggy's safe and sound. And we scored a ton of treasure to boot. Who's this guy with the wings? Can we talk about the guy with the wings? Is that just a costume piece? What's going on here? We scored a ton of treasure to boot. What a great haul. Wow, huh? It's coming from that chest. There's something in there. Open it carefully. And of course, it's little baby Shanks. That was the best Dragon could do to get him away from all the bad news. Rock's pirates wiped out. Wait, where are we? This is cool looking. I don't know where this is, but this is a cool looking location. Predictably, news coverage was falsified. Only one aspect of the story was highlighted, the heroism of Garp. It says here that the Rock's pirates have been vanquished. Rox is dead. I knew it. Vice Admiral Garp is the strongest. He's a hero. Grand Line, Navy HQ. Oh man, it doesn't. Okay, no, never mind. I thought it didn't even have Marines painted on it yet. What the hell is this article? Vice Admiral Garp. I can't wait to get my hands on that Morgans fella. Relax, Garp. He only wrote that stuff because the government paid him off. The world government and the Marines are massive organizations. If you count the member nations' armies, we're talking about tens of millions of soldiers worldwide. It's impossible to account for everyone's actions and motivations. So the top brass ever do strike me as insane. I'd simply turn a blind eye to it. Come again? It's just like I said. You're just another promotion-chasing fool. Shut up. What good can you do barking from the bottom of the cliff? Hey, you two. If you ever stray and get corrupted, I'll kill you myself. How reassuring. I guess that's what friends are for. So you're not quitting then, Garp? Idiot. There are still things at the bottom of the cliff that need a guard dog. Okay. Interesting. So we got some insight on Sengoku's character. Sengoku has always felt kind of undercooked to me, frankly. I don't know. I haven't always been 100% about him. So I guess we get a little bit more about him. Elbaf New World, you again. I ain't letting you on my ship. How many times did I gotta tell you, Pipsqueak? You think I want a brat on my crew? Okay, finally we are back to what I thought this flashback was supposed to be about. What is this? The guy I want ain't giving me the time of day, but a snot-nosed brat won't leave me alone. Hey, Rox, I think you're Nika. Nika, the warrior of liberation who will destroy the world while laughing. Destroy it? I'm aiming to be the king of the world. Besides, if anyone's got that sort of power, it's Harold. Huh? Listen up, Loki. Somewhere out there. The Galera, is that... Sorry, I was tripping out. No, I think Galera. Galera is like the ancient word for like Galilee. It's the precursors to Galilee, who were giants, and I believe they were shipbuilders. I kind of forgot about that part, so sorry, I was getting tripped up. But we're back to reality. The Galera are slumbering. They're an outrageous band of ravagers, and the only one who can put them back into play is your pops. I'm going to continue to rally the rogues of the world. The only one who can put them back into play. Huh. So just imagine if Harold and I teamed up. Who could possibly stop us then? Wow, that's awesome. So why aren't you and Pop's allies already? Because of love. But I'm going to come back again and again. I don't care if it takes 100 or 200 meetings. Dack on it. I can barely read this. Because of stupid ads. It's a vicious assault. King Harold of Elbaf is on a certain island. Have any civilians been harmed? No. He attacked another giant, some thug. It's quite a brutal scene. You still don't get it. I understand, really, I'm sorry. I'll never steal from humans again. You don't get it. None of you do. Huge heaps of trash like you are responsible for the terrors in our race's history. And that's why we can't be trusted. We only desire to peacefully engage with the world now, but they can't trust that. Your Highness, he's already out cold. I didn't want to jeopardize Elbaf's chances of joining the world government. That was my only reason for not helping him. Oof. I forsook my closest friend as he begged me for aid. I left him to die. Wow. All right. This tears him up more than I thought. I thought, oh, there's no turning back now. I will never, ever forgive a giant who does evil. Giant King loses it. Navy HQ, underground detention cell. Dad, I'm gonna quit the Marines. Garp! Garp, where you at, man? If only you let Luffy off this easy. No. You trained Luffy and Ace to be Marines. And then they turn out to be pirates. And you never let it go. Dragon joined the Marines and decides that he wants to quit. And you say, "Gay." That's interesting. That's very interesting. I guess he empathizes with Dragon in this case because they've both seen some pretty warped stuff. And I despise you. Okay? And he lets him go. Wow. Dragon was captured and imprisoned for disobedience, and Garp let him go. Garp is single-handedly responsible for the existence of the Revolutionary Army. That is something. Wow. Harold, I've made up my mind, Ida. Elder Jaw Rule. I don't care about appearances anymore. Hajrudin, Loki, you are both my precious sons. I want you to get along when I'm gone. And do what you can to support Elbaf. Marineford. I pronounce it Marineford, because Marineford just sounds dumb. Marineford, Navy HQ. That ship's from Elbaf. What? My apologies, King Harold, but my superiors have ordered me to not let you land. High-ranking Marines and leaders of the world government, I ask that you please hear me out. Dang. Allow me to atone for the sins of the past 1,000 years. I apologize for every wrong the giant race has committed. The children of Elbaf are being raised to live without harming others, so that one day they may walk hand in hand with humanity. I do all this to prove our unwavering commitment to peace. I'll do whatever it takes to atone for our sins, even if it means becoming a slave. Wow, okay, that's, I don't know if you know what you're signing up for, Harold. Like, these are not nice folks that you're kissing up to. This is not gonna have a nice. This is not gonna have a nice ending. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Elbaf is not an affiliated country, is it? Like world government affiliate? Hold on. Elbaf. By the way, I hate when they spell Elbaf with PH at the end. Because why? The whole point is that it's Fable backwards. That's the whole point. So spell it. You spelled it wrong. You just did. So, is there a section here on like affiliations, locations, citizens, cultures and traditions, religion and festivities, history? Nothing on affiliations? No, as I understand it, they are not affiliated. Because I mean, that's the whole point of them, like trying to get like an army of artificial giants, right? Like, weren't they trying to get that out of like the science group? Because after what's her name? After Caramel got eaten, that they lost uh, their trafficking connection. So, yeah, but that's the chapter. Again, it feels a lot like just kind of tying up little loose ends here and there, just making sure you knew how Dragon, like all the circumstances behind how Dragon left, and how Shanks came into custody of the the Roger pirates. Now everyone's perspective on the matter. But a lot of it was just, you know, closing the book on the God Valley incident, which I wasn't really all that into, honestly. I'm actually more happy to get back to this story of Harold and Loki and Hajrudin. Still don't really know exactly how his name is supposed to be pronounced because it's just so bizarre. But Harold has taken off his horns, and now that it's come to this point, I think the end might actually be in sight for this flashback. Because now I imagine we're going to tend more to Harold's story and see how his life ended and what it led to. If I had to guess, right, about how many more chapters this flashback has in it, and I don't know, maybe I'm being too optimistic, but I'm gonna say 2 or 3 chapters. I think Oda's gonna try and start the new year in the present again. I hope he does, because golly. But I mean, we're probably gonna have a seasonal break at some point, right? I can just look at the my calendar. Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4.5 weeks to go. Not counting this week. Or maybe I should. Yeah, you know what, like 5.5 weeks. So we might have a couple more breaks in us. Like a One Piece break and then like a publication break for the holiday seasons. The seasonal the holiday season is what I meant to say. I figure that's what it's going to be. So hopefully this wraps up in brief and effective order, because I really would like to get back to the present action, because that is where we will get our resolution. Because we gotta figure this out, right? We gotta figure out like what are these dark powers? Where are they coming from? How can they be countered? I mean, it's obvious that the powers are coming from Emu, but we need specifics about what's going on. Assumedly, it's a devil fruit. I would even go so far as to say that it is the devil fruit. Like, the original ultimate devil fruit. You know how they call the Ope Ope no Mi the ultimate devil fruit? Well, that's because they don't know that this is in play. Because Emu likes to keep his existence as secret as possible. Like, this is the ultimate devil fruit. Like, because he turns into the freaking devil. Straight up. He's got all this occult stuff going on. Dark powers. It really is just straight up the ultimate. And I want to know how it gets beaten. Because there's got to be some way. I don't know. As for this chapter, I mean, it's okay. It's just kind of okay. Pretty average, like a 5 out of 10. But anyway, the next thing on the docket is let's see. I mean, that's one way to do it. I don't know. Is this okay? I think it's okay. So this is my tier list for Shoku no Haki users. You know, call it what you want. Call it Supreme King Haki. That's what they call it on One Piece Wiki. Call it Conqueror's Haki. Call it Shoku no Haki. Whatever. It's like the ultimate end-all, be-all Haki that lets you, like, dominate, like, overwhelm the wills of lesser men and knock them out just by your presence alone and tame wild beasts, all that kind of thing. And it's presented as, like, kind of the ultimate power. It's a sign of auspiciousness. It lets people know that you are the one in a million who doesn't take crap, is very individualistic and determined and all that kind of thing. These are the movers and shakers of the One Piece world. Sort of. See, here's my thing. Is there are characters that have Conqueror's Haki that I frankly think should not. Sometimes it feels like it is just a cheap way to hype up a character. And so I just wanted to... It's something that I've thought about on occasion. And it was just kind of stewing in my mind, you know, like shower thoughts just yesterday. And I thought, you know what? What if I made my own tier list where we figure out who among these Conqueror's Haki users deserves the honor and which of them is just a fraud. And that's what this is about. And obviously, this is just in my humble opinion, you know, not making any absolute statements here. This is just me sharing my perspective, and you guys are free to share yours. So these are all of the Conqueror's Haki users to date. This is up to date. Not including the non-canon ones, obviously, of which there are only 2. But this is all of them, living and dead. I guess when I dropped in the portraits, they just kind of came in alphabetical order, so whatever. I guess we'll just figure it out. But first, I guess I should break down the tiers, right? So, way up at the top is beyond him, right? Like, these are the guys who undisputably should have Conqueror's Haki. They are like the ultimate movers and shakers. These are the ultimate dudes, the ultimate badasses. And then we've got him, the tier for the people who, you get it. You get why they have Conqueror's Haki. They've earned it. Him Jr. is just kind of in the middle. It's like whatever. It's justifiable. It's permissible. But, they don't really give off that ultimate badass energy. The way that they should. And then we've got the got gifted tier. And what I mean by this is that instead of actually earning Conqueror's Haki with their aura or their attitude or their strength or whatever, it just kind of feels like Oda gave them this power. He just kind of gave it away. He gifted it to them to buff them, to make them cooler, to make the audience care about them. And then we've got the outright fraud tier, which is like, why? Why does this character have Conqueror's Haki? They're not him. They are not him. They are not built different. They are built the same. And that's the idea. So let's break it down. Starting with Boa Hancock, who I think is going to go into the got gifted tier. Obviously, she's important. She's a big deal. But I don't know. Her having Conqueror's Haki always felt weird to me. Because she is actually a rather, fearful and traumatized person who lives in terror of anyone knowing her horrifying past. Right? And that doesn't seem like something that a Conqueror's Haki user should deal with, should not be susceptible to. And she just doesn't really wow me in terms of powers. Because she's got this devil fruit that is very feast or famine. It's either totally broken, instantly defeats whoever it hits, or doesn't work at all. And that's a very weird power to try and suss out in terms of, power scaling. And then beyond that, excuse me, by the way. I always got to have my fried chicken before stream. Beyond that, she's got, I don't know, just kind of passable martial arts skills. She doesn't have awesome feats of strength. And kind of thing that doesn't even have awesome feats in terms of Haki. I don't remember her ever using it. Except maybe she, kicked Smoker once. And that's kind of it. I've never actually seen her use Conqueror's Haki either, so I don't know. She doesn't seem that strong. Doesn't seem that strong-willed. She just seems unpleasant, which I would not conflate that with being strong-willed. I don't know. It always just felt really weird to give her Conqueror's Haki. But then we've got Katakuri, who is absolutely him. This guy is pretty awesome. He did throw me for a loop, though, for a little bit. Because at first, I was really into his ruthless nature. The way that he refused to underestimate Luffy. He just went all out and used any means necessary to take him down for good. Right? He was not afraid to brandish a weapon against an unarmed man. He was not afraid to rely on numbers. He was not afraid of... He did not hesitate to sneak up on them or trap them. And there was even the famous moment where he stopped Luffy mid-transformation when he was trying to use Gear 4th. Katakuri's like, no, I don't have to put up with that. I know you're just going to get stronger, So instead, how about I just don't let you do that? Because why would I? You're my enemy. Why should I give you a chance? Like, you are not entitled to that. And I thought that was cool. Then Flambe entered the chat. And his energy like really switched up, and it was hard to understand why. Now they did later introduce. They gave us a flashback that gave us a little more insight into his mindset, so you could see how much he actually respects Luffy for not laughing at him when his weakness was exposed, for taking him seriously 100% of the time, for just being a cool dude, and actually treats him more honorably than some members of his own family, right? He saw that, and he saw the way that he wanted to be treated in Luffy, and he saw all the ways that he didn't want to be treated in his own family, and he made his decision. My chief problem is that flashback would have been much better served kind of in the middle of the action, when I saw the way the Katakuri acted start to change. I was starting to have these questions about him, rather than having it after the fact. It just does not feel right. But I mean, at any rate, he is strong-willed. He is capable. He is someone who has been finally honed by adversity into this unstoppable combatant and a great leader. And he's just cool, top to bottom, like his design, like his powers. He is him. And of course, so is his mom. Yeah, Big Mom. I don't even really need to say much about her, right? Like, absolutely. In fact, let me just amend this, okay? Like, there. Like, she's a Yonko. I expect Yonkos to have Conqueror's Haki, with the obvious exceptions of Buggy, where him being a Yonko is mostly a joke, but also kind of serious. It's someone who's used to just kind of scrounging around for petty cash, kind of accidentally failing upwards, and he sees an opportunity to seize dreams that he had given up on. And then Blackbeard. And we have not seen him use Conqueror's Haki. He's not on this list. But he is also an exception in the sense that he evens the playing field in his own way. He's got his own unique gimmick. You know, he's got two double fruits at the same time. No one else does that, as far as we know. Because they say that it comes down to his biology. And it's actually funny, because before this flashback, I was of my own theory that he was a buccaneer, and the way that Kuma can have his personality deleted and be totally obedient, but at the same time he's not and didn't, and he actually still has some modicum of individuality. I thought it was because Buccaneers had two brains. That's what I thought it was. Because Vegapunk, he alluded at one point to the idea that Buccaneers have more going on to their biology than just their strength. They've got some other thing to them that he didn't really get to finish his thought on that. So I thought it might be that they have two brains. And so that might factor into what's going on with Blackbeard. And I get that doesn't like reconcile everything, because Blackbeard, I thought Blackbeard didn't sleep because he had two brains, but Kuma does, and it could be that Buccaneers have their brains in different parts of their body and they function differently based on their personality or something like that. Or maybe it's just different for every Buccaneer. So I thought the way that Kuma is very like top heavy, he's almost like triangle shaped. I thought he had a second brain next to his heart because he's like a sweetheart. And I thought that Blackbeard, barrel chested and rotund as he is, I thought it might be that he has a second brain near his gut because he is very greedy and gluttonous and is just out for himself. But obviously, this has been proven to not be true. It's actually a Davy thing. He was the son of two Davies, which no, not two Davies. It's I got twisted. It's not that Eris or whatever her name was part of the Davy clan. It's that she became part of the Davy clan by marrying Rox. That's what that was. I got twisted. So, can all Davies do it? Or is there more to it than that? It's really weird. I'd be interested to see if the Davy blood is why Blackbeard can do it. And if he can do it, maybe there are other Davies out there who can also do it. And I'd be curious to see how that turns out. Maybe having two devil fruits could ultimately be a force for good. It could happen. I mean, what if one of the Straw Hats, like this is out there, but what if one of the Straw Hats found out that they were a Davy? Because I don't know, does Blackbeard know that he's part of the Davy clan? The way that they have to hide their nature, it could be that there are people who are Davies without even knowing it. I don't know. What if there was a Straw Hat who could have more than one devil fruit? Something to think about. I mean, what if Brooke found out that he was actually of the Davy blood, and then he got a second devil fruit? That'd be pretty freaking cool, I think. But I'm getting off track. Big Mom, don't even gotta say anything about it. Don Chinjiao. I don't know how to feel about this guy. I feel like him, you know what? I'll go ahead and put him right in the middle. Because he is a very strong and strong-willed guy and a great leader. He has the qualifications. He just doesn't really have the aura. He's pretty mid. I feel like him having Haoshoku no Haki was mostly utilitarian to the story. Because you had to explain to the audience what happens when two people with Conqueror's Haki clash with each other. We'd seen it before, but that scene where Luffy and Chinjiao collide just helped clarify it a bit more. Doflamingo, I absolutely get it. He is definitely him. Again, great leader, doesn't take crap from anyone, very strong-willed and individualistic, is driven by a powerful mindset, a powerful philosophy that was honed through both excess and travesty. And yeah, just really a sick character. Whitebeard is weird because I think he is him. But did anyone notice that at no point did he actually use Conqueror's Haki, even when it would have been useful? What was that about? Why didn't he do that? I don't get it. Does using Conqueror's Haki take stamina? Does it, tucker you out? As far as I can tell, it doesn't. No one who uses Conqueror's Haki acts like they're really winded after they use it, so. It was weird that he just chose to not do that. Instead, Ace almost got executed the way he was supposed to, and it fell on Luffy to do it instead. So that was weird. It's always weird seeing characters like Whitebeard or Boa who have this power, but for whatever reason they don't use it. Kid is a fraud. That's pretty obvious. I think we all know that much at this point. For some bizarre reason, there are kid stands out there defying all logic and known science. I don't know how anybody could push a kid agenda because he really is a joke. He's just, you know what? When he first got introduced, he was somebody. He was promising. He had a solid character design. He had a devil fruit power that was basic but showed potential. Uh, and I don't know. He clearly had a strong will, but it never so strong that it seemed like he should have Haoshoku no Haki. Like that is really for the cream of the crop, like Randy Savage, the cream of the crop. And this guy is not it because ever since the time skip, he's just been the punching bag of the universe, where he got his arm ripped off by a commander, and then he got off screen by Kaido. And I know Kaido, like he's the guy. Can I just go ahead and skip ahead and say that Kaido is also him? Surprising nobody. Obviously, he is him. He is absolutely just over. He's buff to the moon. Kaido is strong, but just the idea of Kid being straight up off screen, like it's not even worth watching him get his ass kicked, is so disrespectful. And you see him in prison. He's all laid up, looking pathetic. And then his big get back is having to share a fight with Law against Big Mom. Granted, and again, Big Mom is she's her. But I don't know, he just fell off. I mean, before that, he was going to try and form an alliance with Hawkins and Apu. So that kind of showed right away that even he wasn't believing his own hype that much. That he felt like he needed to form an alliance to be competitive in the new world. And that's not a good look. Not a good look. So he had to share the spotlight with Law, who I think did most of the work in that fight in the first place. Then Kid lets that get to his head, thinks he can challenge Shanks alone, and to say he got one shot is not even doing it justice. He got like 1/20th shot, because that one shot also took out Killer and Heat and Wire. It took out half of the Kid Pirates and made the other half so terrified that they surrendered on the spot. Shanks used one attack, defeated all the Kid Pirates at once. Whether it was through sheer force or just by breaking their will. And then the adding insult to injury, just getting unceremoniously sunk by Dorian Brogy, who they're a weird situation in that they didn't really seem that over when we first met them. But then over and over again, we've been told that the giant warrior pirates and giants in general are just terrifying. And so to try and reconcile that, Oda has been kind of like buffing them and scaling them up progressively over time. where they've suddenly got bigger bounties and more screen time and more feats. They kind of got the crocodile treatment. Or it's almost like Oda, he realized he made a mistake in writing and tried to revise their place in power scaling. But man, I don't even remember how I got to talking about that. But it was just getting their whole ship sunk like that. And like a week passed after that, and then the Straw Hats showed up in Elbaf, and there's no sign of him. It's not like there was anyone on Kid's side to swim him or his crew to safety. I think they're just like done, all the way done. Like they're dead. They died. They got explodified by the Shanks Giant Warrior Pirates Alliance. And there's just nothing left. And again, I know that Shanks is him. We're just going to go ahead and skip ahead again and say that Shanks is him. But, like, just the optics, man. The optics are so bad. Like, it's not even that he just got one shot. It's not even that he got 1/20th shot because he shared that shot with his whole crew. It's that he didn't even put up a fight. He didn't get any offense in. He didn't, like, just nothing. Just completely one-sided. He showed up, and that was it. He just perished. So, yeah, the kid just never. I think the only W's he's gotten were against No Names, Brownbeard, who is basically just fodder with a name, never got a W in his life, not strong in the least, and some Big Mom commander, like some unnamed commander that he forced into stealing the road poneglyph for him. I don't remember who. But, like, these feats are not impressive. Like, if his defeat of a Big Mom commander was just off screen, then that character was so nothing that it wasn't even worth watching it happen. Right? He just fell off. Big time. This is the guy who was supposed to be Luffy's rival. That's what he was set up as at the beginning. Once upon a time, he had a bigger bounty than Luffy. But then, even at the time, they said it was inflated because he just incurs a lot of, like, civilian casualties. So, but then we got Roger. And do I even need to say anything? I mean, obviously, he's him. He's the Pirate King. Straight up. I don't even need to say much. Harold, I don't remember seeing him use Conqueror's Haki. I don't remember being told that he has it. He actually doesn't seem like him. I'm going to put him in the Got Gifted tier. Where he just has it so that people care about him more. Because Oda wanted to tell a story about him. And he wanted to hype him up. And that was it. Emu is beyond him. After God Valley, Emu is more over than over. He is like over the moon. He is over it all. He is so insanely, like, just like the epitome of power creep. The way that he dominates everybody. Until God Valley, I wasn't really sure who the final boss of One Piece was actually going to be. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Kobe in a Naruto versus Sasuke rival battle where after everything is said and done, it's going to come down to the two characters who met at the very beginning? Is that going to be it? Or is it going to be Blackbeard? Luffy's like equal opposite his nemesis, who like he's introduced as loving all the food that Luffy hates and hating all the food that Luffy loves. And he is like cowardly and sniveling and scheming and everything that Luffy isn't. He's subtle. He's ugly. He's despicable. He picks his crewmates not based on trust or love or friendship, but on utility and shallow mutual interest. He was like the most over at the time when he revealed that he could have two devil fruits at once. And he's another rookie who stands a chance of getting the One Piece. I wondered if he would be the next Pirate King. I still kind of do. Because I think that he's hiding something from us, or rather that Oda is hiding something from us. I mean, Blackbeard's a fictional character. He has no agency, but you know what I mean. What I mean is, man, it's dark in here. I wish my streamer lighting worked. Let me try this again. Maybe it just needs to be warmed up. I don't know. Maybe this just needs... I don't know. Can I futz with the battery a little bit? And maybe that'll make it go? Because it's so dark in here. I can't even get the battery compartment open. Whoa. It's trying to escape. Sometimes all you need to do to jumpstart a battery is just fiddle around with it a bit. So we'll see if I can get this working. Nah, that doesn't work at all. No, we're still in the dark. What was I saying? I was saying that I think Oda's hiding something from us about Blackbeard. Because we know at this point that the SBS is actually a reliable information for canon details about the story. And we have had it told to us that one of Blackbeard's hobbies is studying history. And what we know about history in the One Piece world is that it is very taboo and very protected and censored. And we're also told that if he had a job in the real world, he would be an archaeologist. So again, reinforcing that idea that Blackbeard is very interested in history. But there is a history that is not known except to people who can read the poneglyphs. I think Blackbeard can read poneglyphs. I don't know how, but these details just really stand out to me. And they stay in the back of my mind pretty much all the time. Anytime I see Blackbeard, I think to myself, what is this guy really up to? He captured Pudding. I know that much. But I suspect it was not to have her read the poneglyphs. I believe it was to take away the means of reading poneglyphs from anyone else. I'm sure he's after Robin too. He doesn't want anybody else to be able to read this stuff. He wants to be the only one. I wondered if someone else would actually find the One Piece before Luffy, and Luffy would have to fight them to become King of the Pirates, instead of finding the One Piece himself. So I thought he might be the final boss. I thought Kobe might be the final boss. You know, Kobe, he's had a very serious spike in power scaling with the Egghead arc, where it turns out that he's like trained to a ridiculous degree, and his only real issue is his own inferiority complex. And I also considered maybe Dragon. That was a long time ago. Now I think it's obvious the Dragon's just an absolute like nothing. But I wondered, because Dragon doesn't seem entirely good. Um, or at least he didn't for a long time. I mean, he's such a sketchy and aloof character. Um, I just couldn't help but ponder what's his actual political platform. His ultimate goal is the deposition of the world government, but then once they're gone, who does he see taking their place? Is it him? Is he gonna be the new ruler of the world? What would he do if he was in charge? What's his plan for the world after the world government is out of the way? He seemed like a sketchy character, but more and more, he seems like a guy who is actually on the level, which you would not expect based on his menacing appearance. And more, it seems like he's a character who has been rendered obsolete. Sabo has, in many ways, supplanted him as the face of the Revolutionary Army, to the extent that Oda himself has basically admitted it. You know what would help? A mirror. Having a mirror right here to reflect some of the light coming down from here, so the lighting is a little more even. Just a thought. Because the lack of streamer lighting, it really is bothering me. I'm going to have to go out and get a new one pretty soon. But my point is that after seeing what Emu can do, and after picking up on more of the lore over the course of these past couple arcs, it's clear that Emu is the final boss. This is building up to the final showdown between the forces of justice and the forces of freedom. That's really what it's got to be. That's what it's all building up to. Because it's made clear that the One Piece is a major, for lack of a better word, a playing piece in deciding the new world order, shaping global society. But we'll go ahead and move on. We've got Saturn. Let me just go ahead and tackle all of the Gorosei at once, because it's really hard to judge whether or not their Conqueror's Haki is earned when we still haven't really seen them in play a whole lot or know much about their individual characters. I am kind of tempted to put them in the Got Gifted tier, but at the same time, these guys, they are clearly a threat. They're a threat, but they submit themselves wholly to Emu, under the belief that he is like the most holy being, the most holy, most absolute being. And that's not very Conqueror's Haki of them. So, I don't know. I'm kind of tempted to put them in the Got Gifted tier. I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. Because everything about them is gifted. Like, they probably scoped out these specific devil fruits and got them because of their power and their authority. That they can just seize really awesome devil fruits for themselves. They might be strong fighters, and they've been able to awaken their individual devil fruits. But they've also clearly been given this awesome demonic power by Emu that lets them regenerate from everything, have a telepathic link, teleport all over the place, do all this crazy stuff that they would not otherwise be able to do. They are representative of their elite status. where they are given greatness instead of earning it. And so when it comes down to it, I think the only reason why Oda decided they should have Conqueror Haki is just to hype them up and make them scary in this new post-Yonko world. I say that. Shanks and Blackbeard are still obviously threats, but now that Luffy is a Yonko, he's still not necessarily Yonko tier, if that makes any sense. He's more Admiral tier. I think we've pretty much definitively proved that after he fought Admiral Kizaru and they literally both hit the ground at the same time. That like they both ran out of gas at the same time. That very definitively makes him Admiral level. It's just that he had a lot of help defeating Kaido. But we're just at a stage where we're not really even thinking about the Yonko anymore. Now we are thinking more about what is beyond that, because there is clearly a much larger conflict beyond just the Yonko wrestling each other for this awesome treasure. And now you know who else is beyond him. Obviously, it's Joy Boy. I mean, how else can you really put it? What else can you say about someone who cuts loose with Haki so strong, even like hundreds of years after his death, that people can feel it halfway around the world? Like, his power is literally astronomical in scale. Like, just that one thing put Joy Boy in a tier all by himself, above everyone. Absolutely everyone. That's a flashback that I am far, far more interested. That's going to be the flashback, the one where we get everything. When we finally make it to Laugh Tale, and we find out, we find the Rio Poneglyph, and we learn the true history, that is going to be the flashback of flashbacks where we get everything. Absolutely everything. Almost to the point that it is almost certainly going to be an arc in and of itself within the Laugh Tale arc. The same way that Odin Piece was. The same way that Harold's arc kind of is. Or Nolan, his flashback. This is going to be big, chunky flashback where we see things that we did not think were possible before. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Odin. Odin feels like he got gifted. I don't get. He just doesn't give Conqueror energy. He really doesn't. I'm sorry if that puts me in the minority, but I just never got that. In fact, I don't know. I'm almost tempted to put him in fraud tier. Because he instead of giving off Conqueror energy, he gives off Gary Stu energy. Where he is overhyped, overly perfect. The guy shows up and is just instantly the most important character, with everybody riding him, up to and including the biggest legends of the One Piece world. Whitebeard desperately wants him on his crew. So does Roger. Luffy, like the Odin flashback is one of the few, or rather the Odin story is one of the few stories where Luffy has actually stayed awake and listened with rapt attention. Everybody's just all about Odin all the time, to the point where you really got sick of him and how he took over, to the point that for a solid 4 months publication time, he was the main character of One Piece. And him having Conqueror's Haki really just does feel like a cheap trick by Oda to make you care about him, just in case you didn't already. And I didn't like it. I didn't like the Odin push. I liked that this prominent figure in Wano had an important role to play in the Roger Pirates' rise to fame. But the buff on top of buff of he has these two swords, and they're both epic, and one of them is cursed, and he's got Conqueror's Haki, and he knows about the poneglyphs, and he's the only person who's wounded Kaido, and this and that, just feet on top of feet on top of feet. Like, you gotta calm down. We just met this character. You can only get him so over when we've only just begun to know him before you run headlong into Gary Stu territory. That's what I get. And the way that Kaido puts him over just because he managed to injure him that one time. And seeing Kaido's feats of endurance, I don't necessarily think that Oda was even close to actually beating Kaido, even if the fight had gone on uninterrupted. I don't know. I really am tempted to put him in fraud tier. But I think I'll keep him in God Gifted for now. Garp is weird. Let's go ahead and tackle Garp and Sengoku at the same time. Because the way they're treated is bizarre. I don't remember seeing them use Conqueror's Haki ever, and I don't think it's ever told to us in the story. I think the only way you find out is through some ancillary, like, information resource, like some data book out there somewhere that just tells you that they have Conqueror's Haki, and it just feels so tacked on. It really does. It really does feel gifted coded. Oda just gave them this so that you care about them more. They never actually use this power. And Sengoku in particular, like, I don't know. He does not seem like him. He's got a sort of okay devil fruit. It's kind of weird. You don't see Sengoku in action much. I don't know. It's really hard to, like, power scale him. And in terms of character, I already said it earlier in the stream. He feels kind of undercut. Feels like his character, his personality is not very strongly formed. And so just giving him Conqueror's Haki in a data book somewhere that most people will never read, it just feels like a really forced push. Luffy is him, obviously. He's got to be him. He's the main character. Ace. Ace, even more than Oden, I feel tempted to put him in fraud. I'm going to put him in fraud for now. Because here's the thing, right? He seemed so cool and so headstrong and capable and collected. And he had an awesome devil fruit power from the beginning. Sort of. I mean, I think fire powers are kind of boring. But, like, it was a Logia. He just seemed really indomitable. And then more and more, he's gotten power crept. Like, he got hit by Blackbeard, who, I guess Blackbeard is strong. He doesn't look strong. He just seems like a guy who uses his devil fruit power to get an advantage. But I guess he's actually strong. Even though he really doesn't look it. But Ace got really messed up. I think because he had just gotten soft from not getting hit. Because he has this Logia power. And is also just a good fighter in general. Doesn't let himself get hit. But then later we're introduced to Haki, and it's like, what, Ace never ever fought anyone with Haki? Clearly he did. He fought Jinbei. And it was just weird. And also the whole Ace flashback. I didn't think that was a good look for Ace because it just made him. It made him look pathetic, in my eyes, at least. You know, again, this is all just my opinion, but this is a guy who seemed at first like uh, he gave up his dream of getting the One Piece and being Pirate King just because he respected Whitebeard that much. And then the more you get details about their relationship, the more it seems like Ace is not nearly as strong willed as you might have thought at first. And he just got like mind broken because he's got daddy issues. And Whitebeard called him son once. And after that it just messed with his brain so much that he just gave up and decided to go with the Whitebeards instead. And then he acted like a jackass and then disobeyed Whitebeard's orders. It's on a couple occasions, one of which turned out to have dire consequences. Um, he was him, and then he wasn't anymore. And so him having Conqueror's Haki just feels, man, not even as a way to make people care about him, but almost token. Because, well, we've already set up that Gold Roger is his real dad. He's got to have Conqueror's Haki. Like, what's that going to look like if we tell people that that Roger's his dad and he done got it? That would be kind of weird. We got to fix that. Let's say in some throwaway line that he's got Conqueror's Haki too. But he's been power crept, and I wound up learning a little too much about his character to where I didn't like him anymore. And now seeing his power in Sabo's hands and how much more capable Sabo is, like, the power creep is just insane. It's insane to see what Ace's Devil Fruit can do in the hands of someone who is actually strong. So yeah, I'm going to put him in fraud tier. And I'm still really eyeing up Oden and feeling like I want to put him in fraud tier. Because he seemed to, I don't know, his overness just feels so fake. He gave Kaido this scar this one time that makes him the ultimate dude. But not really, though. I don't know. And admittedly, maybe it's just because my dislike of Oden in general is coloring my opinion, but I actually think I am going to go ahead and just scoot him down to fraud now. Rocks. Now, this feels weird. Because, like I said earlier, it feels like he did not live up to the hype. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't vibing with it. Hold on, let me try something. If I open this up a little bit, will the light kind of reflect off of the far wall and give me a little more illumination? No, not really. It's just kind of messing with the lighting. Whatever. I think my face is a little more illuminated. I really wish that my streamer lighting hadn't broken right before stream. But Rocks, as previously discussed, he did not live up to the hype. He defeated some unnamed admiral before the flashback even started. Or before he showed up in the flashback, I should say. And he, like, recruited his crew through the Davy backfights, which, as I understand, the exact nature of the Davy backfight changes. It's just a series of games. It's not necessarily a feat of, like, sheer strength. So, I don't know. It doesn't feel like he has many W's. He certainly doesn't get them on screen or on panel, on page, whatever you want to call them. Because then he tries to fight Harold in order to win him over, and I don't think he ever got a W. It was always just kind of a stalemate. And then he shows up to God Valley, and he gets into a fight with Garling that seems to be going in his favor, but it's inconclusive. And also just the whole regeneration thing. As far as I can tell, even when you know the trick to try and suppress regeneration, it doesn't stop it or turn it off. Like, Garling had this, like, taco-sized gash in his head, all the way down to his freaking gray matter. And he still operated just fine the entire time. So even if he doesn't heal as fast, people with regeneration seem to be able to just operate normally in spite of their wounds, no matter what. So to me, it just looks like it was a matter of time before Garling would wear Rox down, just through his sheer invincibility. And then Emu shows up and just absolutely just like embarrasses Rox with how he handles him. He gets a hit in on him, no problem, and then curses him and sicks him on Garp and Roger like a dog, and basically sends him to his doom. And then, of course, he dies like a dog, just being put down by Garling in the aftermath of the God Valley incident. Not a good look for the guy who was previously set up as, and I quote, Roger's first and strongest enemy. That was how he was introduced. And it was said that Garp and Roger were the ones to defeat him. He had been defeated before that, I think, by Emu. But he was the leader of Rox, and he brought some pretty powerful and headstrong people to heal. Even if Big Mom and Kaido were not necessarily as strong back then as they were later. And Whitebeard is hard to draw a bead on. It's hard to tell if his peak was back then in the Rox Pirates days, or if it was later in the days leading up to the start of the Great Pirate Era. Not exactly sure when. Because he had his Devil Fruit power at God Valley. But One Piece is a weird world where people are depicted as blooming very late in their life. Where Kaido, who is in, I think, his 40s, is considered to be stronger than ever before. Big Mom, too, who I think was in her 60s before she died. And Doflamingo, I think he was in his 30s or 40s when he faced off against Luffy. That was kind of him at his strongest. People bloom late. So it could be that him, all those years after when he was fighting Roger, that's when he was at his strongest. But, I mean, getting those three very headstrong, very individualistic people under his banner, that's I would still consider that a feat. And he was a very ambitious person with a very cool design. And he was a big stepper, very fearless. I feel like him having Haoshoku no Haki was the least they could do to make sure that he lives up to the hype. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in Him Jr. Zoro, I'm also tempted to put in him Jr. Him having Conqueror's Haki doesn't exactly sit well with me. Because for the longest time, he and Sanji were set up as equal rivals, right? They fought often, but there was never a decisive winner between the two of them. Then the time skip happened, and Sanji just got power crept to such a ridiculous level that you almost couldn't even call him a jobber anymore. He just seemed like fodder with a name. And then Zoro having Conqueror's Haki and Sanji not having it feels like the final nail in the coffin for their old character dynamic. They still fight like they're rivals, and Sanji has been buffed following the events of Wano Country, where he's got like the super mutant powers, where he's basically a perverted Superman. But, you know, as of now, we haven't seen him in action enough to really gauge the limits of Sanji's new power. And Conqueror's Haki is so over as like the deciding factor of whether or not you are, if you are him, if you're in the top percentile of due to change the One Piece world. That Zoro having Conqueror's Haki and Sanji not having it, it feels like that balance has been discarded. And what those characters had before is gone now. And even if they try to have it again, it'll never be the same. Scoper Yabon, I think, is also him Jr. We haven't seen him in action enough because we've been stuck in this long ass flashback. So maybe if we see him in action more, I like him. Because he's got peak taste in women. And Ripley is the absolute hottest character in One Piece, bar none. She is the ultimate. And the world will be better with more women like her in it. But it's weird. It feels like setting up false hope for Sanji stans. That Sanji could one day have Conqueror's Haki when he really just isn't that guy. And if they're going to give it to Sanji, then that's, I don't know. He would be another character in Got Gifted tier. And that would almost kind of prove that Zoro was also just kind of gifted Haki. That's kind of how I feel about it. Rayleigh's him, for sure. This is a great character. I like him. His Conqueror's Haki feels very earned. And it serves an important purpose in the story. Because at the time that Silvus Rayleigh was introduced, Roger was the absolute, like, tip top of the whole One Piece world. You never even heard of Emu or Joy Boy or any of those guys. Roger was the absolute peak. Like, the guy that everybody wanted to be. The guy that everyone wanted to surpass. And so, having someone who has Conqueror's Haki humble himself before Roger was a big part of making sure that Roger was as over as he should be as the ultimate dude. So I think that was smart, and I think this is a case of Conqueror's Haki going to someone who really earned it. He's a very strong-willed guy. It just makes sense for his character. That's really what this tier list is about. Is does this character having Conqueror's Haki make sense for the character? For all these guys, it does. For these guys, it kind of does. And then for these guys, not so much. And then you have Yamato, who is fraud. Absolute fraud. Do not like this character at all. This is another Mary Sue. Where as soon as they showed up, they were pushed to an obnoxious degree. son of a previously established famous character. They borrowed they borrowed Kaido's fighting style while also putting their spin on it. They have a mythical Zoan. Um, they have a character design that is familiar in a lot of ways. It kind of borrows a lot of elements from existing characters and stitches them together. Yamato just feels like such a fan character. And it's hard to understand her having Conqueror's Haki when it just doesn't make sense to me. How can you have Conqueror's Haki when your entire personality is based on worshiping and trying to copy someone else's personality? Like, Yamato's whole thing is just loving Odin to the point that she has basically been brainwashed into trying to make a clone of Odin out of herself. It's just another really obnoxious, overly pushed character, and her having Conqueror's Haki feels ultra fake. It was not a good writing decision. It does not fit her character, and I'm not into it. And unfortunately, that's the end of the tier list. We kind of left on a sour note. But that's my tier list for characters that I think should have Conqueror's Haki, who have earned the Conqueror's Haki that they have, versus those who have not and are just frauds. And I know that this is going to be so controversial for some people. But it's just a freaking cartoon, yeah? Like, don't get too uptight about it. It's just a little show. It's just a little manga. It's whatever. Like, it ain't that deep. I think to some degree, art should be taken seriously because it is a major agent of change for culture and philosophy. It's where we learn a lot of our morals and ethics and values, principles, beliefs, all that kind of thing. But at the same time, even though art should be treated seriously, should not be treated too seriously. Right? So, if my tier list upsets you, my only advice is to just, I don't know, go out, take a walk, go to a restaurant, order your favorite food, take a hot shower, get your shower thoughts going, and realize that it ain't that it ain't that deep. It ain't that big a deal, and that's what's up. So that's it for the tier list. The last thing I wanted to do was just get down to some blooms. That's really all there is to it. Just dig on some blooms, and then that'll do it. Because this stream is already actually longer than I expected it to be. I didn't really think that I was going to be able to fill out even 1 hour, let alone 2. But it's already almost 3. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to try and beat Scrapyard on chimps. And then call it a. I'm going to go ahead and turn these off, but not like it matters anyway, because you can't use them on chips. Chips? Chimps. They get turned off automatically. So let's do it. And it's kind of funny. Because part of the challenge of chimps. Let me make sure auto start's not on. I almost never use auto start for chimps. Or unpoppable, just because it's more high risk. Not being able to farm in chimps is almost kind of liberating. Because you just don't got to think about it, right? It's almost going back to old school BTD, where it just comes down to playing towers and upgrading when you can, and not micromanaging your money all the time. I actually kind of like going back to the time before banks. The time before banks, the time before like skill trees. To where like, if they implemented this mode, the logic then is that it is possible to beat it like fresh out the gate. Just from the jump, you have the tools that you need to beat these maps without relying on skill trees. And so you're not worried about, my rank's not high enough. Like, I need to grind more. Like, that's not in your mind when playing chimps. You got what you got. All right. And this is pretty beastly. This is usually how I open up my games. Boomerang thrower. I don't remember if I said this before, but BDD 6 has really turned me around on Rangers. Because for the longest time, I didn't understand them. I couldn't see what role they were supposed to play in BTD as a whole. It was hard to get to draw a bead on their niche. And now it seems like they have several niches. Where top path is like epic crowd control. And then bottom path is like really awesome, like mid to late game stalling. Depending on if you invest and go all the way to moat domination. Okay, just go ahead and pop those. I could have probably waited and just let these guys pop them on their way back. But whatever. Oh, I actually forgot to... Okay, let's wait for the pink balloons to show up. And we'll just go ahead and hit that right now. Let's see. Because I got to plan around when I get the wider radius, right? So I'll go ahead and plop this bad boy right around. Hold on a sec. Let me see where I want to put this bad boy right around here. Because that's my go-to for camo management. Is I used to get the radar scanner all the time. But after seeing what Shimmer can do and playing with wizards more, that is my preferred way. Is to just get rid of camo altogether. And let's see. Where can I squeeze this guy? Oh, I actually can put him here. And then Ice is going to be to the right. So that way he can catch dudes while they're in the range of other towers. I absolutely hate when the ice tower freezes dudes before they're in the range of other towers. That should be fine. Because it just slows rounds down immensely. Okay, I can just let this one march to its doom. Because we've pretty much got this handled. To really do it, I think, because I want to try and ramp up to getting as much of a discount as possible right away. I'm going to have to make use of the industrial press. This ain't too bad, though. This is all right. Great. Again, a single red balloon makes its way through. How much longer before Sada can reach a little further and we don't have to wait anymore? 6. And she's a 4 now, so it's a while. So we can get that. Just to help us out a little bit, let's go ahead and get quick shots. And go ahead and put that down. There we go. Faster throwing for you as well. Really great to concentrate on speed, I find, in the early stages of this game, where your major concern is just like large throngs of balloons, and not so much individual balloons that are stronger than normal ones. So we've got that. Should probably go ahead and step it up again. Because we got to keep up. Because at this stage, pink balloons are our biggest worry. So we got to keep up with them in terms of speed. Oh, I forgot about the glue gunner. I forgot about the glue gunner. I wonder if I'm going to be able to squeeze them in. The wizard's got to be up near the front lines. Oops. There we go. And these guys should be handled. Okay, good. I was a little nervous there for a second. And then this guy is absolutely just cooked. There you go. The glue gunner thankfully has a very small footprint, but am I still going to be able to squeeze in the eventual mob mauler? I'm not sure. And this guy should be taken care of as well. Still makes me nervous, though. So let's crank things up. I don't know. Do I want to get it right away? That seems a little early. I want to invest more in my, anti-mob defenses. That coverage is so bad. Come on. Let me think. If I get the bigger radius, can I put the glue gunner up here? Not quite. I'm going to have to wait. Oh boy. Nope. That is bad news bears right there. So let's... Come on. So finicky. There we go. That's still not great, but whatever. And then again, prioritize high speed offense and switch these guys to strong. There we go. Now I can invest more in dealing damage versus just speed. Kylie A Boomerang is like my favorite upgrade for the Ranger. Because it just makes the projectile more, like, literally and figuratively more straightforward. While also generally just making them more effective. The middle path, I almost never do. I don't really get its niche. So to some extent, I still don't fully understand the role of the Ranger. They're like, look at that. Hits him on the way out, hits him on the way back in. Perfect. So we're going to start running into more camo balloons real soon. Better make sure that's taken care of. I think round 33 is when you start running into a whole lot more. There, and now they should be taken care of. We're still going to run into more of them soon. So let me save up for Shimmer. I should find some music to play while this is going on. Hold on a second. Nope. And by the way, the last stream has taught me that that Tree Among Shrubs by Men I Trust is copyrighted. Or, I mean, well, obviously, like, all songs are copyrighted, but what I mean is, like, that copyright is enforced. So I don't necessarily think it affected the video, but I decided that I'd go ahead and use the little YouTube tool to mute it anyway. Which is weird because I used it as the outro to my introductory video. That's sad though because I made the effort to distort it. I should probably like pitch it down when I get the chance. There, that I think should suffice. Does that pick up on the microphone? A little bit. It's hard. I still have a hard time telling how loud it should be. I want to turn it down on my end. Oh, shut up. And then turn it up a little bit on your end. But then again, I still don't want it to be too loud. I want it to just softly play in the background the way it should. Alright, so now... Okay, that's good, that's fine. Mode Mauler. Want to save up for the Mode Press. We've already got Shimmer, so once I get Mode Press, I want to start investing in this top path right here. For the village. We're doing pretty good, though. Again, this is still a beginner map, so... I can't be too proud of myself. Ooh, I do also want to get bigger bombs and heavy bombs, though. Because if we can't get the glue gunner going in time, we're going to have to rely on dealing more damage. We should be able to afford jungle drums, though, which will help out in a big way. So will primary training. Let's see how it goes. Ooh, okay. Oh, she's got her longer range, so now she can hit across the way. Oh, I forgot to switch back. My bad. That was my bad. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now let's try and get primary mentoring going. Come on. Man, I've got really mixed feelings about Final Fantasy 15, but soundtrack was still good. The only problem was that the soundtrack was underfed. Like, there weren't enough original tracks. I almost feel like they just said to themselves, oh, well, we're letting people listen to the soundtracks of other Final Fantasy games using the game's radio feature, right? Or, like, weird CD player feature. You know, you can listen to what you want in the car. So we don't even need to come up with that many original tracks. Let's just make, I don't know, like, not even 10. There's the one overworld theme that plays sparsely. 2 battle themes. 1 or 2 for bosses. And then themes for the tiny handful of towns that you go to. Very disappointing. I actually want to turn that down more. I know that means it's probably very hard for you guys to hear, but I'd rather err on the side of caution. Okay, so now we can get our glue going. And I wonder, could we feasibly save up for primary expertise right here and now? I'm curious. We are going to start running into more... Nope. That is bad. I probably should have let Sada handle it, though, because, again, she's got the longer range now. Nope, we're going to have to start, like, spending more right here and now. Because this is not enough DPS. Not at all. Now we're handling it. Okay, maybe not quite enough. And at some point I'm going to set up another village right on top of this box so I can set up more of a defense through here. In the meantime, let's get some more music going. There we go. That's nice. I don't know what game this is from. I assume it's from a game. Because this is from like a lo-fi mix. Or not lo-fi, like a chill wave mix. Not even mix. I keep misspeaking. It's like chill wave covers of Squaresoft and Square Enix tracks. So one's called Rising Sun. And then I did my own little lo-fi mix of their chill wave cover. And I think it turned out pretty good. It sounds very mall coded, very mall core. Something playing over the sound system off in the distance. While your mom shops at Belk for perfume. This one is slowed down the tempo to like 80%. But I think I'm starting to learn that that's not enough. Like if I got a content trip for Tree Among Shrubs by Men I Trust, then I might also have to pitch them down as well. All right, saving up for primary expertise. And we've got these mobs very well handled at this point. And you see how good Shimmer is at taking care of these camo balloons? This is so much better than spending money on the radar. These days, I almost never build the middle path. It does not appeal to me. We almost got it, and I'm almost certain I've said it before, but I like the way that stuff is more expensive on Impoppable than it is on Chimps. Because if you're going to have one of the hardest difficulties not let you farm at all, then give me another comparable challenge where you can farm. And not only can you farm, it is almost necessary because items are even more expensive than in the supposed ultimate challenge. Man, I forgot the way that primary expertise just cleans up these camo LEDs, which is like, it doesn't say that it has camo detection, but you clearly saw the way that it could just plow through balloons that were nowhere near our wizard with Shimmer. So I guess it can detect camo. Oh, I straight up forgot to get mope glue. I probably should have done that. Okay. At any rate, the tracks that I'm playing now are tracks that did not trip Content ID in my previous painting stream, so they should be good to play. This is another very mall core track. This is my lo-fi mix of New Days from Persona 4, which, controversial opinion, I really hated that game. But at least it came with a killer soundtrack. Like, it literally came with a physical copy of the soundtrack, which is pretty awesome. I miss when games came with bonus content like that. Do, 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 do. Okay, so what should we be saving up for? Ooh, it's round 63 now. Now is the time to invest more in slowdown. Like a lot more. Although, we already have primary expertise. And primary expertise on its own handles round 63 very well. So I might actually be worried for nothing. Yeah, like look at that. I didn't even need to get that ice tower. I mean, not yet. I will need it later because Icicle Impale is how I deal with DDTs. But like, I don't need it yet. So we'll just do this and build another one of these. Because we're going to be setting up some tack towers. I'm going to build two of them. And none too soon, it seems, because some of those guys were actually breaking through. Like, my goal at this point is to give Sada a vacation. Where she doesn't need to swing at anything anymore. Primary mentoring. Okay, so this is going to be our Inferno Tower. Inferno Ring, whatever it's called. And then this is going to be our tack zone. Yeah, the Inferno Ring is very much part of our fire and ice strategy for DDTs. And then the tack zone, well, one, it's amazing crowd control for anyone who's managed to make it through here, at which point, leads have been popped. And lead should have been popped. And camo balloons should not be camo anymore. So that just leaves normal balloons. And when it comes to normal balloons with no special properties, tack zone is really good at clearing them out. And also the tack zone is just cool. I really like it. In almost all video games, my preferred offense is just hitting as fast as possible. And the tack zone is all about gotta go fast. Just pouring out as many projectiles as possible. So let's get this. And we are now on the path to getting the Inferno Ring pretty freaking soon. Let's just go ahead and turn auto start on now. I know I said I never use it for chimps, but like, look at this. We got this handled. Just gotta let the cash roll in. And dang, I'm getting pretty freaking cold now. What's the temperature outside? Because like I was saying, it's been pretty hot. Yeah, it's 84 out right now. And my phone is about to die. Oh, crap. I can't believe I didn't remember to charge it last night. Wait, what? No. Stupid app problems. Can we just, can we not? How do you update it? Come on. This is great content, right? Watch me struggle to update my phone apps on stream. Can you please just... No, I don't want TikTok. I never want TikTok. Never. Where? Yes, update, please. That's the problem, is I haven't been updated. Uh-oh. Running low on root beer. Well, we should be wrapping up this game and this stream fairly soon. Because these rounds are pretty easy. It's just a matter of letting the cash just flow in. Like, if you've made it this far, then you've got it handled all the way up to round 90. Yep, handled. It was a little tough, though. A little bit. But in case of emergency, I've got Sawda's abilities. Let's get some more music going. What's this one? It's written in Japanese. Ah, Provincial Town from the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. My little lo-fi mix of it. Again, sounds like you're going shopping. Man, the FF7 soundtrack is so peak. Come on, man. It drives me nuts how expensive Inferno Ring is. And I want to get Inferno Ring before I get Icicle Impale. Because Icicle Impale is like too good at slowing blues down to where rounds take longer. I'd rather set up my primary offense first and then the stalling later, if I can. We don't even have icicles yet. So, I've heard it said, but is it true we're going to get an Ice Paragon in the next update? Because I'm down for that. And I said it before, Ice Towers I used to hate, but then in BTD 6, like, they're just so freaking over. Like, they've gone from being one of the worst towers to being one of the best, in my opinion. Ow, my head. It used to be that, well, I didn't use them at all in BTD 1 through 4, right? And, oh boy, here come the DTTs, and I still don't have my Icicle Impale. And obviously I can't sell in this mode, so that's disappointing. We're going to be getting more of them in round 93, too. There's no way I'm going to be able to save up 32,000 in time. Hopefully I'll have enough for round 95. Which is when they really show up in force. Whew. Oh, man, I don't know. Saving up is going so slow. And my offense just isn't what I want it to be. Come on. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but how effective is Mob Mauler, Mob Assassin, Mob Eliminator at dealing with DDTs? Because DDTs actually have me kind of mystified in terms of how they work. The idea is that They move as fast as a pink balloon. They're armored like a lead balloon. And then they're immune to explosives like a black balloon. But then I've seen preemptive strike blow DDTs away. I use that strategy all the time, but is that not an explosive attack? Does that not utilize explosive type damage? I don't understand. Why are these missiles so good at dealing with DDTs when they should be immune to explosions? That doesn't click for me. There we go. That's what you like to see. Nice. Not actually dealing as much damage as I would like. I got a problem with that. Okay. And there you go. That's Junkyard on Chips. It actually did not go as smoothly as I would have liked, but you know what? We survived, and that's all that matters. Grace is completely optional. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for now. So I did not see anything saying that One Piece was on break. Let me go ahead and double check my homework because Arlong Park will say. Excuse me. Okay, no break next week. So that means we should be on again for the 30th. For new One Piece, and I don't know. I thought about doing another tier list. I had the idea in my head and then totally forgot. And maybe more BDT6. I don't know. I don't know. I've kind of been in a rut lately. Because here's the rub, eh? No pun intended. I've been trying to save up for PC upgrades because I think that's the only way that we're going to be able to get more gaming done on this channel. Is I really need a new motherboard, and that means I'm going to need a new CPU as well. The motherboard I'm eyeing up is also not compatible with my current memory, so I need new memory. That is the next critical step to kind of leveling up Cross-Age Productions. So I'm trying really hard to save up for that. I've just got a lot on my plate. Thankfully, I've said it before, I work in education, and I've got this next week off, and that's pretty sick. So I'll just kind of find my way over the course of the week. Got things to take care of, but I also really want to just chill out. I've also got my friend. He's supposed to be coming into town. Obviously, I'm going to be spending Thanksgiving with my family, but I don't think we've actually finalized who is going to be showing up. If it's going to be just the three of us, me, my mom, and my dad, or if we've got any friends that are going to be in attendance. Friends or family. So, got to figure out the Thanksgiving situation, got to figure out the PC upgrade situation, got to do some more video editing, got to take care of chores, little odds and ends here and there that I've been putting off because I just haven't had the free time. And gotta just recharge my own batteries. I gotta make the most of this time off. Um, I'll I'll do what I can, but for now, dang, it still drives me nuts that I remember having a great idea for a tier list, and now it's completely slipped my mind. I'm gonna have to meditate on it. But for now, just plan for us to be back on the 30th at our usual time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If there are any changes, best way to find out is just on my little socials down here. If you had to pick one of these to keep up with, obviously it's hard to keep up with all of them. If you had to pick one, I would recommend Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. That's just the one that's the easiest to manage. But for now, thanks for checking us out because, every view, like, comment, subscription, follow, all that kind of thing, and helps push us on to bigger and better things. And that's going to be it for now. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys later. Hopefully with better lighting next time, because this is some real Flophouse amateur hour lighting going on here. I'll definitely get that fixed. Well, I don't know. Definitely. Nothing's ever definite in this world. Oh, hello. Hey. How's it going? Yeah, sorry about the poor lighting. My streamer lighting broke right before we started. So I'm gonna have to pick up some new stuff sometime this week. We got to do a lot of upgrading for this channel. We gotta get a new motherboard, new memory, no CPU, all that kind of thing. But I mean, hey, thanks for checking us out. We just got done. Well, we read the new One Piece chapter that just came out, and it was okay. And just did like a little One Piece tier list on if I can go ahead and show it off now. Just my perspective on which characters I think it makes sense for them to have Conqueror's Haki versus which ones it doesn't. And then we played some BTD6. Hold on a second. Okay. I got tripped up for a second because I have finally taken the time to go back over my channel, by the way. I know I already did like my little outro and whatever, but I want to go ahead and talk about this. I have finally taken the time to go back and check out some of my copyrighted stuff. Not copyright strikes per se, but like little bits where it's like, oh, this was muted, or this is copyrighted, but the owner allows it, which is still kind of concerning because what if one day they decide to change their minds? Huh? So that's concerning, but I am really trying to, just keep everything on the level. So I went back and tweaked some things that were issues from before, where one was like restricted in certain areas. But if you go back to some of my older streams, some bits, I decided to use the tool they give you that like intelligently mutes uh, the sound the like copyrighted thing that's been picked up, but it will not mute other things. Although your voice still does come out kind of distorted as a side effect. Unfortunately, the Gunsmith Cats episode is still lost. I have to like edit that down into a non copyrighted form. But I think that should do it for now. But yeah, and now it's awkward because I already did my outro. But yeah, thanks for checking us out, and we'll see you, like I said, on November 30th at 1 p.m. EST. If there's any changes, there's my socials down there. That's how you're gonna find out. Twitter is probably the easiest one to keep up with. Because again, nothing is definite in this world. There could always be some sort of unforeseen catastrophe. And that'll do it. Thanks again for checking us out. Y'all have a good day. And happy Thanksgiving. Catch you later.